Here's some homework help for the transformations section. First graph, describe how the graph of this can be obtained from the basic graph. So the basic graph would be just the square root of x. Now the square root of x graph, and you can look at that online, or you can do that in Desmos if you want. It looks something like that. So they're doing this transformation to it. That's in an A spot. So that'll have something to do with the vertical stretching, and the minus sign will also have it doing reflection. Okay, so, and it reflecting on the x-axis. So x-axis. So any one that looks like this, it won't be. So it won't be that one. It also doesn't reflect on the y-axis, so it can't be that one or that one. Guess it has to be that one right there. So that one is reflected, so instead of going up, it goes down, and the 8 will make it vertically stretched, so like it shows there. So we want to stretch it vertically, and we want to flip it on the x-axis. I'm not sure what that's asking for. Oh, multiplying each, so we're multiplying all the y coordinates. So you multiply, if it's in the a value, you're changing y. So you multiply all the y values by, they want the number there, so it'd be 8 or negative 8. I guess you multiply it by 8, and then this takes care of the negative, so reflected across the x-axis. Okay, so that'd be that one. Next question, describe how this function can be obtained from the basic graph. The basic graph looks like sort of like the ones down there, but it looks just like that, the absolute value. And again, you can do that in decimal, see what it looks like. So we start with this basic graph, and then first we're going to do this A thing to it. So we're going to, because it's a third and it's A, we're going to shrink that vertically by a factor of, what's it say? Shrink it vertically by a factor of 1/3. So 1/3. And then finally, shift it. This tells me to go down 3. So I'm going to go down 3. Shift it. Yeah, down 3 units. Okay, good. Oh, we got to pick which one it is. All right, so we want to pick one that goes down 3. Well, it's not those. And this one got shifted to the left 3, so it has to be that one. And this one's also wider than normal. The normal graph sort of looks like that. This one's a bit wider, and that's what tells me the 1/3 is. Okay, describe how this graph can be obtained from one of the basic graphs. It's the absolute value graph again, so it'll be like this. This is in the B spot, so it's in the B spot. So that is this one. The larger the number, the squishier it gets. And so what it's doing is it's shrinking it or squishing it together. Okay, start with the graph of this. So the basic one. And then what? Oh, they say, oh, that. And what I want to do is this one's going to shrink. So the higher this number, the shrinker, I don't know if that's the word. It shrinks more. So it shrinks by dividing each x. Oh, so it shrinks horizontally and divides each x coordinate by 9. Okay, so the B thing, it affects x. And the bigger the number, the shrinkier it gets. Okay, similar kind of question. This is the absolute value question again. So this tells me that it's going to go up 3. And this tells me that it's going to shrink not shrink this one, because if it's a fraction, it's going to stretch horizontally by dividing every x value by a quarter. So let's answer the questions here. So I'm going to take the absolute value graph, and I'm going to, this one is going to stretch it. because it's in between 0 and 1. And it's going to stretch it horizontally by dividing each x coordinate by a quarter. And when you divide by a quarter, you change the divide to times and multiply and invert. So change the divide to times and you invert. So you basically end up multiplying by 4. But here they're saying divide each x coordinate by a quarter. And then we want to shift it up 3 units. So up 3 units. Okay, hopefully you're getting good at those. Because here's another one. Okay, this minus sign is in the A spot, 3 is in a C spot, and this is in a D spot. So I'm going to start with the graph, the quadratic graph. I'm going to shift it 3 units to the right. Oh, that's what it says right there, right 3. Then reflect it across here. So this reflects it across the x-axis. That's what that one does. And then finally, I shift it up 7. Gee, I like these. I could know a bunch of these. Oh, I don't get any more. The point minus 16.5 is on this graph. Find the corresponding point on the graph of y equals gx, where g of x is this. So they're taking the normal graph and they're doing this transformation to it. Well, that transformation is a D transformation, and that thing will move the thing up 4. So what I need to do is, all I need to do is take the y value and move it up 4. So this is what the point was. The only thing changing is that D spot. So the only thing that's going to change is that 5. So my new point will be a minus 16, and if I move the 5 up by 4, that'll turn out to be a 9. Next question, 7. Write an equation for a function as a graph with the given character. Oh, so I have to write one now. Okay, shrunk horizontally, that's a B thing, by a factor of 6. So I'm going to have to put that right in there. I have to shift it down 5. That'll be outside here. Oh, that's all I have to do. Okay, so it'll be y is equal to 1 over, by a factor of 6, so I'll put a 6 in front of the x there, and then I shift it down 5, so down 5. Okay. Next question, the graph is given, no formula is given. Find the graph of this. So all they're doing, that's in the A spot, and all they're doing is multiplying every y value by -5, or timesing it by 5 and flipping it. At any rate, this graph sort of goes like this. The new graph is going to have to go up, down, up like that. Let's just see if they have one of those. That one looks like it. This one, no. This one, no. This one's not either. None of those reflected. Isn't that funny? So the minus sign there makes it reflect, so it has to flip over. And those ones didn't flip over. Now let's just confirm with this one that they multiplied all the y values by 5. So this point right there, that's at minus 18. So what's this? 3, 6, 12, 15, 18. Yeah. So if that's at minus 3, those are all minus. If this point is 3 or minus 3 and minus 3, if I multiply the y value by a -5, so -3 times a -5 is a positive 15. So the new point should be at 15. Sure enough, it looks like it's at 15. I'm picking that graph right there. Okay, question 9. The graph of the function shown to the right, match the function this with one of the graphs below. Oh. So this is a normal f of x graph. And what they're doing is here, this will be a shrink. That's an a value. So that'll shrink all the y values by a third. And this tells me it has to move to the left 2. So let's just get rid of some of these. So I'm going to focus on that middle point right there. So which one got moved to the left? Yeah, that one moved to the left. This one moved to the left. This one moved to the right, out. Move to the right, out. So it's between these two here. and I am shrinking by a third. So I'm taking all of the y values and times them by 3, or a third. So this number there is 3, so it's up 3. And so if I do this transformation to it, it's got to go down to 1. So let's see at my that point, which one is at 1. This one there, oh, that looks to be like at 10. This one here, this would be 2, 4, 6. This one's at 1 right there. I'm picking that graph right there. All right, last question. If minus 1, 5 is a point on that graph, find B such that 5B is on the graph of that. Oh, great. Okay, so let's see. So I've got negative 1, 5. That's on f of x. And then they want to find B such that 5 and B is on this graph. Well, this graph here tells me to move 6 right. Okay, so if I'm at minus 1 right there, and if I move 6 right, I'm going to become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to be right there. So that's at 5 over. So the new transform graph, the x value would be 5. Now there's nothing in here that has any effect on the y value. There's no a out front, and there's no d out back. So if there's no change to the y value, then this y value stays. So if they want to know what b is, it has to be 5. That one takes a little bit of logic figuring out. All right, hopefully that helps you out with the homework on the transformation section.